This is how I found out I had stage 4 triple negative breast cancer. It all started when I was going to school in Idaho, and I found a small lump on my breast that I brought to my doctor's attention. He gave me a referral to get a ultrasound to look at my breast. I then went to my ultrasound appointment, and they told me that it looked benign, and the only way that I would actually find out is if I did a biopsy. But there was nothing irregular about it, abnormal about it. And at the time, I had bigger and harder matters pressing on me. Every single month, ever since I was 12 years old, I had terrible pain, menstrual pain. Instead of getting the lump taken out via surgery, I decided that I would get surgery for my chronic pain that I've been having, which is now found out to be endometriosis. After getting that taken out, I had to recover, but 2 months later, me and my husband got pregnant with our son, Poet. While being pregnant during this time, my breast mass increased, and I didn't notice it until around the 6th to the 7th month before my baby was born. I had gone to the doctor and let them know about it, and I also had pain in my back that was so severe. But I kept pressing through, and I kept being a good old stay-at-home mom, cooking, cleaning. But I had severe back pain. It was so painful. I went to my doctor, and I told her about it, and she was like, oh, well, you're just pregnant, so it comes with the territory. Your stomach is elongating, and you have a lot more weight on you, so all of this is straining your back. I said, okay. Later on, I mentioned again, well, what do I do? Like, I'm having back pain, like, it's really bad. Same thing, get pregnant, it's normal. And then I gave birth, and my back was hurting tremendously. And I went to the doctor 2 weeks after I gave birth, and I told her, like, hey, my back is really hurting. And she's like, well, let's do a urine test and see if you have an infection. Did a urine test, wasn't an infection. Well, you just gave birth 2 weeks ago. It's a sign of pregnant. You're a sign of your ab separation. You got to strengthen your body. But let's talk in 6 weeks when you're actually postpartum. And I was like, okay. I waited 4 more weeks. At this point, my back is not getting better. It's still hurting. And now I'm starting to get chills, and I'm starting to get fevers and night sweats. So I went back, and they was like, oh, well, we'll get you hooked up with a physical therapist. I go to my physical therapist appointment, and my physical therapist is like, you're in a lot more pain than the average person, even someone that gave birth. And so she recommended that I get some type of scans to figure out what's going on with my back. I'm like, oh, wow. Nobody ever said that before. This is news to me. Okay, well, thank you very much. Within that same week, I started to get the chills down my spine, and I started to get the night sweats, and I started to get like I was getting a fever, like I was getting sick. That night, by the way, my baby is 2 months at this point. That night, my baby woke up in the middle of the night, and I could barely hold him. I was in so much pain, and I couldn't sleep. In the morning, my mother-in-law came to check up on me. And when she came, I basically just raised up my baby, like, please take him. I cannot have him. I'm in so much pain. At this point, I was to the point where I could barely move. I said, I need to go to the hospital. I don't know what's going on, but I need to go to the hospital now. So I waited for my husband to get home. We went to the hospital. When we sat down, we were in there for 6 hours. 6 hours. We thought that I had an infection from the epidural, but it wasn't from that at all. I got an MRI, and when the nurse practitioner talked to us, he sat me and my husband in the room, and he said, I'm here to tell you that you have cancerous lesions on your spine, going up your entire spine. And I gasped for air, and I cried in my husband's arms. My husband had came off work and he was exhausted, eyes bloodshot red. And my husband cannot fathom what this man was talking about. My husband just was like, so is it cancer or is it not? And he said, I cannot tell you whether it or not it's cancer, but it looks like cancer. Because technically he cannot diagnose. He's not an oncologist or anything like that. Then my husband was just like, we're not going to tell anybody anything. We're going to wait till the morning time. We're not going to talk. We're not going to tell anybody anything. And I said, well, we need to tell your mother what's going on. He was like, we'll do it in the morning. My husband was just like, I don't believe it. My husband was in denial, and I was relieved that my voice was being heard, that I wasn't in my head, that I wasn't going crazy. And that's how I found out.